the British judge has rejected the request by the United States to extradite Julian Assange. So now, Assange, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with him, created WikiLeaks, which released some pretty embarrassing information about the U.S. domestic spying programs that we covered on the show. A lot of independent media did. And this information was given to us, given to them, and then to us, being released public by whistleblower Edward Snowden. Now, WikiLeaks also released collateral murder video earlier of an American helicopter in Iraq killing innocent civilians and medical personnel. So it's a lot of stuff that the United States government did not want released. So they're not happy about this. The Obama administration definitely not happy about this. And so another thing that they were not happy about is the fact that WikiLeaks was involved with the Clinton email scandal, in which a trove of Hillary Clinton's emails were released, most of them fairly boring and mundane, but there was some of them that actually gave us some insight into the corruption of the DNC and how they were putting their thumb on the scale for Hillary Clinton against Bernie Sanders. In fact, we also found out from the emails that a CNN staffer, Donna Brazile, had been passing questions to the Clinton team before a debate on the network. These are questions that, did not get shared early with the Bernie Sanders team. So it's obvious that there was some favoritism going around. She was the establishment favorite, and he was not. He was the insurgent, he was the upstart. And so, well, the establishment did not like that challenge, especially since it was a pretty significant challenge. And so there's all of that, okay? Now, why did the request get denied? Well, it's because it was happening in Great Britain, in the UK. And it's because of the prison conditions here in the United States. So now that's interesting. So now, citing harsh federal prison conditions in the United States, according to Shadowproof, Kevin Stoller writing this article, Judge Vanessa Barrett-Sear rejected the United States government's extradition request. She also accepted that diagnoses that Assange had were recurrent depressive disorder, which anybody would be recurrently depressed if they were locked in an embassy for, 8 years? Long time. And also, something I didn't know, high-level autism. Okay, high-functioning autism. All right, so that depressive disorder, coupled with, and this is according to the judge, would, together, being in that isolation in a supermax prison under special administrative measures, they surmised that Julian Assange would be more apt to commit suicide. And so, therefore, here's what she said: I am satisfied that in these harsh conditions, Mr. Assange's mental health would deteriorate, causing him to commit suicide with the single-minded determination of his autism spectrum disorder. I find that the mental condition of Mr. Assange is such that it would be oppressive to extradite him to the United States of America. So now we have examples of this, of U.S. prisons being so shitty and so bad that, yes, people have tried to commit suicide and have successfully committed suicide. Now, one example of somebody who tried to do so was Chelsea Manning. Chelsea Manning was tortured while she was in prison, okay? And during that torture, she had attempted suicide several times during her incarceration. I mean, part of that torture included shining bright lights into her cell so she couldn't sleep. All right? The judge also talked about Epstein and how Epstein had killed himself, or allegedly killed himself. And so that determination, the judge determined that in conditions of near total isolation without protective factors which moderate the risk of committing suicide, high security Belmarsh prison, where he currently is detained, the authorities would not stop him from trying to end his life. And again, the prison conditions in the United States are horrific to begin with, compared to those in the EU, or in this case, since Britain is leaving the EU, in Britain anyway, over in Europe. And look, I'm not saying the worst in the world, of course, but they're pretty bad here in America. That said, he will have an opportunity to apply for bail from Belmarsh, where he's been detained since April of 2019. But that said, speaking of not great, the U.S., of course, is going to appeal with the High Court of Justice because they really want to get him. Okay, they really want to get him. And again, it's because he embarrassed the United States government. And look, Assange, by the way, was charged in 2019 with 17 counts of violating the Espionage Act, one count of conspiracy to commit a computer intrusion that contains elements of an Espionage Act offense. His superseding indictment in 2020 contained new general allegations that targeted his speech at conferences and the role he allegedly played in helping the NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden leave Hong Kong. But here's the thing. Like Assange or not, he is a journalist. I consider him a journalist. He released information given to him by whistleblowers. And what the government has done in going after him so aggressively is, in essence, criminalizing news gathering practices by journalistic outlets. That includes the receipt and publication of secret government information. Now, there's a reason that freedom of the press organizations have condemned these charges, because you are criminalizing journalism. If we do not protect whistleblowers and the journalistic outlets that publish the things that they have uncovered, then we do not have freedom. We will never find out the terrible things the government does in our name, and therefore we cannot change those things. And so it's really, really important to protect journalists and whistleblowers. And in this country, we have done a shit job at both. We have done an absolutely terrible job. Abysmal. You cannot have a free society if you do not protect journalists and whistleblowers. Democracy actually depends on having free information in order to go to the government to address our grievances. And the Obama administration was really bad at this. The Trump administration, also terrible at this. And so what we have to do, again, is we have to protect our whistleblowers and our journalistic outlets. It is a threat to freedom of information. So now, more bad news. So now that said, the judge did accept almost all of the allegations that the U.S. government has laid out. She said that they were reasonable, and said that a court would protect Assange's due process and free speech. No, not in America, not now. Not with the government that hates whistleblowers as much as it does, and journalists as much as it does. And I don't trust that it's going to change in the Biden administration as well. I don't believe that Assange is going to be treated fairly. And that's why, and by the way, this is why Snowden didn't come home as well. And so, and by the way, why Manning, who did go to prison, nearly committed suicide many times. No, we've got to fix protections in this country and actually protect those people that need protecting. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.